Okay, welcome to Thrive Nation podcast, where we share incredible stories from amazing people who inspire us to be resilient and who have chosen to take control of their lives by embodying that 1% mindset. And today I'm joined by Karen Humphries, one of my favorite people, who's a author, who's a public speaker, who's just an advocate like no other. Thank you, Karen, for joining us. Like, what did we talk about today?
Well, we went through so much. We discussed how to unpack your suitcase, that 1% thrive mentality, how to have that. We discussed what it's like to have, um, uh, when you're first diagnosed, what to do, the three key
Yeah.
things, in what you should do first. We went deep and into the world of cancer and being diagnosed and cholangiocarcinoma and how to turn up for yourself. And really, we also talked about the spirituality aspect and altruism aspect, and also how to be a leader when you are advocating for others in this space as well.
Yeah, it was a great episode, guys. So like sit back, relax. I'm so grateful. She is my very first guest, and I'm so great. I'm so happy that she's here. So let's go. Episode 4, I believe, of the Thrive Nation podcast. Enjoy. Thank you, Karen. We have Karen Humphries here. The very first episode, very first, I guess, interview of the Thrive Nation podcast. So it's for myself, like I'm so grateful that you're here. Um, it's how have you been? How's the week been?
What a phenomenal week. It's probably one of the best weeks of my life,
Yeah.
Joe. I had my booklet launch on
Yes.
Thursday, and I have to say that it was probably one of the best nights of my life. And I said to myself, uh, everything after this is a bonus for me because it was a 6-year-old's dream in me to become an author, and I studied 2 years of creative writing many years ago. So I've actually been able to achieve a dream, and I'm just so grateful that I'm still here, thriving
Thriving,
and
yes.
able to achieve that goal, like of holding that book up, and it was just profound to have that moment. So it's a profound week, and then finishing it off with you. You are just the most beautiful human being, and I'm just in utter awe and in gratitude for the friendship that we exchange on a
Yeah.
basically daily basis.
I love it. I love that. So for those listeners, like Karen sends me messages every week of encouragement, and we just try to keep each other just our mindset like positive and just keep encouraging each other to just always strive for better. And like yeah, like you said, like this friendship that we've had for the last 2.5 years, like since I started my journey, you were one of the first people that reached out to me. And I've just been so blessed to have you like in my corner cheering me on and watching you set that example as well as like, okay, here's this amazing woman. She's been through so much more than I could ever, imagine. And yet you still keep showing up, you still keep shining that light. And like it's so appropriate for you to be my first interview in this podcast because as we both share, like we both were diagnosed with cholangiocarcinoma. February is Cholangiocarcinoma Awareness Month. We had Light Australia Green campaign, which you have been a part of and responsible for making happen, like making it an actual thing. So yeah, I'm just so grateful for you to just be my very first interview on this podcast. And I hope that everyone who's listening like hears this incredible woman's story and realizes like being diagnosed stage 4 or being told terminal or being told all of these things, it really comes down to you and how you live it. And you embody that 1% mindset. And with your book, like we'll talk about your book as well, and the work that you do with Parliament, guest speaking for hospitals and different fundraising events like, here is this amazing woman who's just doing everything possible to show up every day. And I hope readers see that. I hope the listeners see that. And I just feel honored that you're the first person that I get to interview on this podcast.
And I'm just as honored, utterly, utterly honored.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about some of the work that you've done over the years. So you've worked closely with, I guess, medical professionals and the government as well.
Yes, so I was diagnosed probably about 52 months ago with my first round of cholangiocarcinoma, and that ignited the advocate in me, I suppose. And
Yeah.
knowing, as you know, there was hardly anything out there for this awareness, which was just appalling.
Hmm.
You know, and I remember my oncologist saying, we've tried, but it takes, advocates like yourself to make a change. And you'll see that in ovarian cancer awareness because it's the same month as well in February. You can see how that has actually changed over the last 4 or 5 years as well.
Yeah.
So I started wanting to raise some money for my professor, professor that saved my life. And it's just really spiraled out of there. I wanted to raise $500 and then I decided to raise $5,000 through the Royal North Shore Hospital and the North Foundation. That's their charity partner for the hospital. And I did that and I started a sock brand called Socks for Cancer. And then I started an awareness campaigns and my community and the local government got involved and we lit Australia green
Yeah.
um, uh, all around Australia. I think that was 2023, and I was highlighted in newspapers and front covers and put into Parliament for my work. And it's just been progressing from there basically. And I have done the rounds and volunteered at all the foundations that have being a part of cholangiocarcinoma and upper GI cancer, upper GI cancers
Yeah.
as well throughout the years, and that's been profound. I've been able to sit with beautiful people like yourself, run support groups, privately mentor people, and I do so in an altruistic form.
Yeah.
I don't ask for money or anything like that. It's just coming from living with another genetic condition that causes a cancer. And I've mentored people with that. Having lived with chronic illness most of my life,
Hmm.
it really has changed how I've dealing with cholangiocarcinoma. I've also studied postgrad counselling studies just before I was diagnosed with cholangiocarcinoma. So I specialised in cancer and chronic health when I did a lot of my essays and researching. And that I feel has changed me. And I know that altruism came as a form of my childhood, a working class background I had, and I
Yeah.
saw my parents were very steeped in the community as well in giving back. But I know that through studies, when you are altruistic and you do beautiful things for the community, it actually helps you live longer. Did you know that, Joe?
I did not know that.
Yes, having and also having a spiritual belief doesn't
Yeah.
matter what kind of spiritual belief, but a belief, a higher belief. It actually, that is another thing of helping people to thrive
Yeah.
because we're looking outside of ourselves.
Hmm. I definitely believe that having
Yeah.
that grounding, that spiritual grounding, definitely plays a part in your healing. Because if you don't have a foundation of, I guess, self-awareness or self-belief and the that sort of identity that there is something greater than you, that there is a purpose to you. It's when you embody that and when you start to walk that path, you find that you can go further than when you don't have that sort of spiritual ground.
And I feel like you're probably going to say yes to this as well, that, we have seen so many being in a similar communities, with cholangiocarcinoma, and it's such a small community in Australia and worldwide where that people don't survive, longer
Hmm.
than really 6 to 12 months, 18 months maybe at the
Yeah.
most. It's challenging, and I suppose that having that belief, you know, we were talking about this before, we have this, there's a survivor's guilt that just
Yeah.
is an automatic pilot, but also somebody, one of the longest surviving cholangio patients in Australia. She's been here about 11 years, 12 years now, and
Mm.
she's a profound woman, and she's a woman of faith as well.
Yeah.
And I just, look to her, but I also realized that seeing everyone pass away is really quite challenging. But she said to me one day, I was really down about just another person passing, um, that that's God's plan for them, and it's not that plan for you, and He
Yeah.
wants you to be happy.
Yeah.
And that really helped me. But I still get the blues,
Yeah.
about people passing, but I try and embody that. And I
Mhm.
think you and I both do. Multiple times we both say that we're here for a reason. And
Yes.
I feel that even my doctors have said, God is at play here.
Yeah.
God is
For
at
sure.
play. And it's like, do? What do we do at that time? We're all terminal. And that's when I was re-diagnosed again and given the word terminal, I changed it and reframed it and said, for me, you know, terminal, we're all terminal.
We are.
So
Yeah.
we could get hit by a bus. So I reframed it, and every morning, I got out of bed and I just said, I'm cancer free. And for me, I'm very lucky. I had 9 tumors and I'm down to one visible one. So then that it's a miracle. The trials worked.
Yeah.
The holistic approach worked as well.
Yeah. And we say that to each other every morning. Like our mantra is, remission is the mission is remission. Anything
Anything,
and everything is
everything is
possible.
possible.
We are miracles. And
Yes.
and that's right there is evidence there that we are the embodiment of miracles. And we touched on it a bit about that faith and that belief and how too often, especially in our with our community, when they're told terminal and they're given an expiry date almost, they take on that expiry date and their body will start to break down as if it was like, that's the date I have to go.
Yes.
Right. And then it works the other way where it's like, I have faith and I believe that I'm going to be here for another 5, 10, 15 years. It's how you believe, and your body listens, your body knows. And so in that sense, having that belief that you have a purpose beyond yourself,
Hmm.
it allows you to live on because you're living for something that's more than just you.
Absolutely. And I was already living with an incurable disease that caused the
Hmm.
cancer, as I said. So,
Yeah.
and I actually had to learn just before I was diagnosed. I actually been working with this amazing physio. I've had to work with many physios throughout the years. I've ended up in a wheelchair, walking stick, because of the disease, and unable to eat and having a colostomy bag for nearly 16 years.
Mhm.
So it's really brought me to, the gutter of life basically, and I've had
Yeah.
to work my way back, and I've had to educate myself on ways how to, not let that get to me. And I remember befriending it just before I was diagnosed with the cancer, and I was going studying all these things I just discussed before with you, with the counselling and unpacking my life suitcase and my beliefs
Yeah.
and everything. Um, it it dawned on me that I'm having a brain fog moment.
Sick.
Yeah, you'll have to, which happens quite regularly, as you might know, with
Chemo side effects.
chemo and the other condition. Um, so you might have to bring me back to what we were saying. Oh yes, befriending the disease. I wrote a poem which
Yeah.
is in the book, and I befriended the Ehlers-Danlos syndrome rather than hate it. I go, you know what? I'm going to love you, and I'm
Yeah.
going to meet you. So I'm doing that with cholangiocarcinoma as well. So even though I freaked out when I had diagnosis of cholangio, and I couldn't even look at the referral forms with the word cancer, and people were giving me books on cancer. I
Hmm.
couldn't. I just couldn't do it. Um, so like I went to that place as well. So I'm
Yeah.
not, I'm not perfect or anything like that. I think we hear the word cancer and we freak out. And I feel that you and I are here to educate others,
Hmm.
especially in your Thrive Nation group, which is
Yeah.
just, you know, I feel that that is going to take over this world because I've been, in a lot of support groups. I've ran a lot of support groups, and I feel that you and Tegan are creating something very different. So,
Thank
you're
you.
going to help people thrive like nothing. And I'm so, so grateful that I'm here to support you with that
Yes.
and looking over, to watch that beautiful growth as
Yeah.
as it progresses.
It was,
Um,
yeah, it is early days. We have
yeah,
just started. We're still a little group right now, but yeah, we really,
impactful.
yeah.
I don't have a lot of followers. Somebody said to one of my key followers actually said to me, Um, I said, I don't actually have a lot of followers on social media. She goes, no, 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 no. It's who you have following.
Yeah,
I have, MPs, I have newspapers, I have reporters.
exactly.
It's who I've impacted. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily, zillions of people. It's how I've changed the world. And
Hmm.
then the other night I had, you know, three professors, an MP, and another doctor speak at my book launch. And again, it's not about the follow, it's who is
It's
listening
yeah,
and our light, Joe, and you have
yeah.
that light. And
It
that
is.
light
Yeah.
will come. So you are not small. You are great.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I
Thank
see
you.
your light.
Thank you. It is yeah, it's definitely a case of who, not how. And when you're able to connect with people, yeah, especially with MPs and professors and other medical professionals, you know you are doing something right because they are the ones who can get your message. Like they recognize you. And obviously the work that you are doing has been recognized by those who have influence to spread that message. So like I'm so proud of the work you're doing. And your book, let's talk about your book now. So the book launch that happened this week. And like I got to have a preview to that book. I've been reading it, and like Tegan loves the cover. She was like, "Oh, it's absolutely beautiful." And um, what was it like to write this book?
Oh, well, the first chapter was written about 12 years ago when I was studying creative writing. And I
Hmm.
had to cut a lot of pieces out, but that was facing the tiger and when I was going to have a colostomy. And you know that some of the moments I'm having, I'm on the floor and I'm
Yeah.
literally in pain. And then when I've gone to relook at that, because I've had a few years, I'm not in the trauma. But a lot of these chapters, I'm actually writing them like running for my life, the chapter. I was actually hadn't even dealt with, you know, uh, journey number one with cholangiocarcinoma. And
Mm.
I'm running for my life again,
Yeah.
being diagnosed with number two. So it's actually been quite traumatizing, quite healing. I have a beautiful team of mentors and psychologists that I work with. I have a village. I
Yeah.
do not walk this road alone. So do
Mm.
not expect that you can walk this road alone. And that's why Thrive Nation, I believe, will really help people
Thank you.
because we are an ecosystem of love and support.
Yeah.
And that's how I've got through this. But I was putting some photos up around my, you know, I'm a very visual person. So I remember actually being years ago before I knew that I had Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And I just remember visualizing myself as an older woman wearing yellow. And look, and I actually got this on. And I remember saying this to Ben one of the times I was with him and the foundation where we met, the CFA. And I said to him on this day, I I just saw myself visualize, myself as an older woman, I think much older than myself, sitting with two children around a fireplace. Now I don't have children, but I have two godchildren, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Um, and I was visualizing myself, um, being here. But it's been a phenomenal, like phenomenal to write a book when you're actually
Mm,
living it, but also I've had to put it down. I tried to write it 4 years ago when I was diagnosed with cholangio, and I think God and universe wanted me to go through the second dose of cholangio because it wouldn't been as impactful had I written it then or had the launch. I feel
yeah.
like it's going to have greater impact because the influence I've been able to do with my work and the people that were there on Thursday night um, is just an indicator of, what needed to be in the book, who was there, and
Yeah.
the journeys I've taken, along Ireland and to go back to Ireland as well. And I talk about in Remission is the Mission chapter, going back to London and Ireland as well. But London is where I had my colostomy operation,
Yeah.
and it was 15 years last year. So it was 15 years and 5 days. And I talk about going over the London Bridge, and I remember having to get the taxi home from that surgery, and I was absolutely traumatized. And I was able to go back there last year as an empowered woman wearing this beautiful gown that had love on it and walk over it. And I was dating myself and I was taking myself to a beautiful candlelight
Yeah.
opera show. And I was like, what a full turnaround, 360 turnaround of I was housebound in England. I was very sick. I was studying, and that was again, I had a mission. I got out of
Hmm.
bed. I had my beautiful husband at the time, and I had a mission. I was studying my degree, 2 years of writing and health and social care. So I've done a lot of studies as well in health and social care and counseling and, helping people heal. Um, so it was so beautiful to go back to the museum that I studied art as well. So I couldn't actually, I was too unwell and a lot of the time when I lived in London to actually go to that gallery. So I was able to do that and then walk over the bridge. And it was just like, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for giving me this moment. And it made me so strong, to actually live that moment. So I've had ups and downs, and even to go back to Ireland 3 years ago, I went there and I was healing a lot from the first bout of cholangio, and then I just visualized, going back there from when I was being told basically this isn't good. I'm like, no, I'm going to go back to Ireland, and I did.
Yeah.
And, I tied things to trees, and you'll probably see I did a bit of cold water swimming. You might not be up to that chapter yet, but my good friend Desi in Sink or Swim, he's there. He's the founder of cold water dipping. Um,
Yes.
and yeah, so um, it was just profound to go back there and heal what I needed to heal. And I went to different places this time, and I went back to some like the Seed of Hope as well. And I didn't want to face. There's a place called Hell's Hole, and I was the first time I went there 3 years ago. I go, I can't face that. I've already been through hell, but this time I made sure I walked there, and I go, you know what? I'm facing hell because I've probably got more hells to go through,
Hmm.
and it's how I'm going to face those hells.
It is how you face them. And I guess so the book, when we start the book off, we started, you're about 20
Yeah, 23.
23, right? And
Mm.
that was, yeah, it's what was it like growing up before? Like, what was life like before until that moment? Because you did talk about, I guess, you like symptoms and things that weren't, that didn't feel right, but constantly being told like it's nothing, it's being played out and that sort of thing. But then what was it like to actually have some sort of validation?
Is that for the first diagnosis
Yes,
I
the
had
first
done?
diagnosis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was being elated, like to being believed. And it's not that I don't, I've fallen down cracks of the medical system, but I have the most wonderful village, and I talk about how to build your village. So
Yeah.
I'm not shaming the medical system. I live with multiple rare conditions.
Yeah.
I need people that understand rare on rare on rare. So up until then, education was lacking in the health system on this rare disease. And it is actually like cholangio. It's starting to, gain momentum now around the world because of advocates. So, but to be validated, I just remember going into, I'm not sure if I wrote this bit or it was taken out. I came from this physiotherapist because I was working and I was needing physio chiropractic like 3 times a week just to manage to get by. But repetitive activities, ironing or typing,
Mm.
sitting for too longer, they all cause me problems because my connective tissue can't hold all the joints and organs together.
Yeah.
It was, I was born that way. So for me, it unfortunately ruined a lot of my gut and, from my mouth to my anus. So, um, so to be validated, I remember coming out of that physio. She goes, I think that the appointment one day, I think you've got Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And I just went into this little section in between doors, in between shops, and I just started crying.
Yeah.
And then the day I went to meet the professor, who's like the grandfather of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and he said, no disease in modern history has been neglected like um, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I'd actually have to say cholangiocarcinoma would actually fit into that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so we that day he's like, oh no, you've definitely got this. You've definitely got this. He did all the examinations. And as a baby, my mum said, there's something wrong with my child. She took me to the doctor and he goes, no, she's just lazy. She's got
Mm.
a brother and sister. But I admitted crawling. So I walked at 18 months. I sat on my bum. So obviously my body, I couldn't lift myself up or hold myself up. And yeah, it was just profound to be diagnosed and it's not in my head. And I
Yeah.
think again, it's just keep on knocking on doors until you find the right village.
Yes. Yes, for sure. I mean, we talk about that with cholangio is, you know, get a second opinion, get a third opinion,
Absolutely.
an advocate for yourself, be your own best friend, like really love yourself and look after yourself and look out for yourself as well. And I mentioned this earlier in the podcast. You have been through so much more.
10 lives in
You
one.
know,
I said that the other day, 10 lives. And some of the doctors that see me in emergency sometimes just come over and go, darling, I
hmm,
can't believe what you've experienced.
no, I can't either. It's like
I'm,
cholangio itself is such a rare and aggressive thing that many people aren't aware of, yet you've dealt with that
wasn't my first
and
rodeo.
yeah,
I remember coming home from the doctors when I was diagnosed with cholangio, and I rang my, parent and siblings, and I just said, okay, this isn't my first rodeo. And
yeah,
that's one of my key wisdoms. Ride your own rodeo. It
Roger
doesn't
and
happen.
Rodriguez. Yes.
And my oncologist has said, you've done so well in the first round because you've had to deal with such
Hmm.
elevated elevation, rates of disease. And I've chosen, as my auntie once said,
Yeah,
education opens doors. I've educated myself in every single way. I don't sit watching television all the time. I sit in meditation classes. I sit in Buddhist classes. I sit at church.
yeah,
I sit listening to music and having well-being tools. I am like that visualization. I'm not dying.
no,
I am living, but it has been like when you go to physio and you're relearning how to do something, it's been a paced series of events. It just didn't happen.
yeah,
People look at me and go, oh, you look perfect, you're lovely, you're pretty, but they don't see what happens behind and the rehabilitation I have to do every week. Like I have
yeah,
5 or 6 hours of physio or about an hour and a half of physio, and then on top of that, I have to do more rehabilitation just to keep my joints and organs in place.
yeah,
And that's not including, food. I can only eat about 48 foods. And that's got to do with the EDS.
yeah,
It's got to do with cholangio and all the surgeries I've had. Um, I've
yeah,
had to prime myself.
yeah, you have. And I think you've just touched on it as well. Like you just said, you're not dying, you're living. And we find that so much in this space where people are running away from dying instead of actually running towards life, right? They spend so much time worrying about how not to die when they should, when in fact, like, how do I live, right? How do and like you said, education, learning as much as you can about what you're living with. and how do you live with it, and how can you make the most of it, and how can you live beyond it, right? And I think what you did, and you talk about the education part, like in your book, you also went back to school,
Yes.
in your 30s, and that was, obviously that was a major
Yeah, I was a high
accomplishment
school
as well.
dropout. I
You
was
were a
a
high
high
school
school, yeah,
dropout.
yeah.
Yeah.
With a, I went back as a disabled student as well, not
Mm,
able to even at through that first degree. I couldn't even, I couldn't write more than 30 seconds.
hmm
I had
Yeah.
to use a voice activation. I had invigilate. I was housebound. I had invigilators come to my home to sit for exams. I didn't even know if I was going to graduate. I did not know if I was going to live.
Yeah.
I didn't know, but you know what? I just dreamt of visualizing myself graduating and even going to a photographer's and getting, my gear on, graduation gear, and taking photos. And one of my physios, my GPs just said, no, go, go to that graduation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
What
did.
was it? Yeah. What did it feel like to actually go and walk across the stage and get that diploma? I mean, I know that yeah, I'll let you talk about that.
Oh, like that was another moment in time because
Yeah.
had been housebound and I just had the colostomy, I think, a year or so before. So I was just getting out again. And, I was in London and I was born in London. My parents are Irish. So I was seeing these double-decker buses go by, going there and coming home. And like that's full swing again with the universe and God just going, you'll come back to
Yeah.
your birth country. To graduate in itself is amazing, but to graduate in my birth
Mhm.
country is something else.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
quite an achievement, I think. And I had to sit in the disabled area. And I still had that mindset of running, to the toilet all the time because that's what was happening. I basically lived on a loo for 20, in my 20s and 30s. Anyone like it's like Crohn's symptoms.
Yeah.
You're debilitated. Um, so I only met one other student in that first time I graduated, and I sat in the disabled thing. And my ex-husband wanted me to, walk up with me because there was other disabled people having people walk up on the stage. And the stubborn woman I am, I go, nope, I'm
Yeah.
doing it myself. And I did it, and I was
Yeah.
so nervous. But I suppose it's like writing a book, and it's hard years of. I had a purpose, and I wanted to graduate.
hmm
And I remember actually one of my beautiful mentors at school, he was Mr. Joy. He he got me a role at the Sydney University in the journalism paper because they had the
I
paper. So
photographer.
I wanted to be a journalistic photographer. And
Yes.
I've also been a columnist and things like that. So being a writer was always my dream. And I remember going to a graduation. So I was about 16 before I dropped out of high school. And we were reporting on that. And I go, I'm going to graduate. Again, there's visualizations. Like visualizations play
Mhm.
a massive play in us. And actually, talking to a lot of long-term survivors, they've all said they visualize. So that's
Yes.
strong something because our body can't, that neuroplasticity, it can't actually tell the difference.
No, it can't. It
Or
can't tell the
not.
difference between what's an external, you know, threat or occurrence and what's just a thought. It's to the brain, it's the same thing. And so your body will respond the same way. And so, yeah, visualizing that you're healthy, that you're living a full life, your body listens and it will be like, oh, okay, we're healed. We're living a full life. Yeah.
Mm. So it was just profound, like writing a book.
Yeah.
And I want to go back and complete my degree, postgrad degree in counselling. I've done the certificate level, so I'd love to get a PhD.
Yeah.
So that was something I wanted to do. But cancer's taken me off that journey and into a whole different world and into advocacy. But I'm also now, this week, I've launched as a, professional speaker. I've done studies in that now. And, I want to write more books.
Yeah.
So education, any type, I've done diplomas in mindfulness. As I said, I study Buddhism. And I take what I want from that, but it's more about mindfulness as well.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
Continuation of studying.
And the book is called Chronic Wisdom,
Yes.
obviously. Um, what do you think, I guess what do you think chronic illness has taught you that perfect health could not have taught you?
Whoa, that's a really wonderful question. It taught me how to be humble. It
Yep.
taught me, it has brought me to the guts of life, absolutely guts of life. And I just never forget, after separating, I was living in a like tin shed, I told you, like in someone's back garden with really basically nothing. Um, Having to restart, not knowing, getting that terminal diagnosis. It taught me resilience. I don't think I would have the guts that I do now and the courage I do now. Cancer has not broken me, it has made me.
Yeah.
It has made me the woman that I would have and should have always been. It has, I feel that maybe I might have been in my ego more. It has taught me to be humble. It's taught me to be grateful. It's taught me to have a deep spiritual belief. It's taught me who loves you, who truly loves you, who a friendship, who walks away, who is a fair weather friend, who who supports you, where to find support, what kind of good support looks like, how to find your village, yeah, what community is, how to be in my flow, how to turn up for myself, how to unpack and repack my life suitcase, and how to be present for other people going through something similar and be a leader in that and embody, if you're like when you are leading the way in something like you are, it's our responsibility to also be a good leader,
Yeah.
care about the people and their well-being when they come on this show and understand that, they've gone through a lot of trauma. There is trauma there. We can't just say there's no trauma. It's how you sit with that person in trauma, Joe. And I suppose all my education and working at the hospital, I can see as a patient, but I can also see as a like studying what I have in health and social care and counselling. I've got a different brain, I suppose, when I look at it. And that ADHD brain, which I get from the Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, I have 10 brains looking at a problem and a person, and I sort of read in between the lines. So I suppose, yeah,
That was a great answer.
yeah, being a good leader.
Yeah.
And I feel that you and Tegan embody that. I can see that in your videos. I can see that, hear that in your voice. And I think the biggest takeaway I would say is if you're you know, leading the way, um, do
Yeah.
your own work,
Yeah.
show up for yourself and embody that.
Mm. I agree. And even as someone like like myself and Tegan, like we started off, you know, looking for leaders and we found you. We found, we had Ben, and a whole heap of other people who, when you're on this journey, if you can imagine you're walking up a mountain, there are people who are ahead of you and there are people who are going to be coming behind you. And, as long as you have your hand out, someone's going to grab it. And when you look back, someone's going to be having their hand out and you can be like, hey, grab my hand. These guys are leading me. I'll help lead you. And that's how I truly feel about, the work that you do is like you're leading the way for us. And I'm just following your example and trying to emulate, try to give as much as I can as well, because you've set the bar, you've set the standard of like, this is what it means to live with this. So I'm so grateful for having you in my life and being part of that journey so early on. And so now I get to try lead people too. And I feel very, I said humbled because I don't know the answer. I don't know all the answers. But what I do know is I've lived through this and I can help other people live through this as well. So
And you're doing such a great job at that.
thank you. I'm still
And,
trying. But yeah.
I think, and we have a beautiful mutual friend, Ben, who is just our hero and he's now in heaven. But, we know that he's always with us and he was a leader in cholangiocarcinoma
Yeah.
and people come along, they're either in people move through like it's jobs and seasons and trains. Some people are in your life, for a season or they're only on, if we're looking at getting a train,
Yeah.
and they might just be on one stop,
Nice.
one station with us. For, but like with Ben, we'll always live on. But
Yeah.
other living people are, you just learn what you need to learn, good or bad. And
Yeah.
you're, even like people can say cancer's bad, but there's a lesson in cancer.
There is.
There's
There
a
is.
lesson when we meet people as well. And we have a decision, who we want around us. And I think that's a big thing. And what Thrive Nation is going to give to a lot of people is that you and Tegan embody positivity, and we need positive mindsets. We do not need toxicity around us. And
No.
we have to be very careful of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And because other people will tell you, oh, my daughter died of this and my daughter that. I had that a lot. And it's like, no, that's their story.
Mhm.
I can't have you. I'm not going to be around that. I have a choice that I'm
Yeah.
just not going to listen to it.
Yeah. I think we've spoken about it before around, you mentioned that everyone has a purpose, and some people are here for a season or a stop and
Yeah.
but everyone's here for a reason,
Yes.
right?
And
Yeah.
love them, have love for them.
Yeah. Yeah. And that reason might not be for you, it might actually be for someone else,
Absolutely.
right? So I truly believe, our Ben, he was a very big part of our community and brought us together and we've
Amen.
continued, and I truly believe that was part of his reason for us as well. We
I
wouldn't be
think
here.
Ben wanted me to have a partner, another partner in crime. So I believe
Yeah,
you're that person he's put in front of me.
yeah,
And I've actually had a lot of people, um, reach out to me, um, from because I stepped away from some parts, and it's lovely that a lot of people in the last few months actually
mm,
just message me,
yeah,
and show me some beautiful support. And I need that as well. People just think, oh, she doesn't need support because she's a strong woman. I need support.
mhm. We
I
all
need
do. Yeah,
support. I need my community. I
yeah,
need my cholangio community as well. And yeah, and people like you with that kind of mindset. And I'll never forget you and Tegan were on a Zoom call, I think it was about 2.5 years ago, and you were just the light, like everybody deals with it differently.
yeah.
But you guys were like, no, 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 I'm not going down
No,
1%.
yeah, no,
No,
that's we celebrate, it's celebrate anything you can, celebrate everything, even if it isn't the best news, celebrate the fact that you know it and that you have the opportunity, you can choose to change it,
I know
right?
somebody was saying the other day, oh, you celebrate your wins. And it's like my team, like my physios, would actually actively get me to write every week to celebrate my wins. So I think in our society, it's like a tall poppy syndrome,
Hmm.
isn't it? But it's not. It's actually rewiring your brain to go,
Yeah.
you know what? Rather than going, I'm that negativity in
Yeah,
your mind.
like I'm unworthy.
Yes, no, I am worthy, and here
Yeah,
you go, pat yourself on the back. Because,
exactly.
we might have had a teacher that said you're a bad person, and that will live with until we unpack our suitcase. That
Hmm.
trauma will live with us.
Yeah.
So we have to keep on working on the traumas within us. It's a journey, and as you know, you've actually gone back to a lot of things yourself and unpacked your life suitcase and healed. You're healing. Every day it's a journey and
Yeah.
things trigger you. And I've watched that unfold as you've unpacked that suitcase.
Yeah,
What's that been like for you?
it's been a lot where you don't realize certain behaviors or beliefs or things that you did because you thought they were supposed to be done. This is how you live a life, this is how you act, this is how you are as a man, or this is how you are as a husband, or this is how you are as um to realize how much of an impact that was having on my actual my body wasn't liking who I was.
Hmm.
And then that would, we talk about the energetics of you know diseases and how there is a energetic sort of spiritual component. And when cholangio, being a cancer that's in the bile duct, that's there in the liver, is a place where we hold anger and guilt and shame. And so for me, it was having to face those things in my life that I was not proud of, and then learning to forgive myself and love myself and tell myself, no, you are worthy. Right. And so that has been a major part of my journey. And I feel like that's something that everyone on this journey eventually they come to that part where they're like, no, I'm worthy. I need to start loving myself more, because for too long I've I've kind of neglected, of put others before me, of overextended myself, of given so much of myself. I've never had any love for myself. And
Mm.
so yeah, that was my biggest realization when on this journey. And so now that I have so much love for myself and appreciation, because I now have a purpose and I'm excited for that purpose.
You can just see it. You're actually glowing. And people say that to me, you're glowing.
Yeah.
Do you actually have cancer? You know, that's
Yeah.
what they say to me. You don't look like with somebody with cancer. What does somebody with cancer look like?
What is
But you're
that?
glowing. You and I have a purpose.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
can see it in you.
Yeah. And that comes from having to deal and having to unpack.
Unpack it, yes. And I feel
Yeah.
like some people, they might be surviving a long time, but then I don't feel that some people don't learn those lessons. And
Mm.
that's what I feel like you're going to help people unpack. But the right people will come to you
The
and
right
then
people. Yes.
right people that are wanting to be in that.
Yeah.
But it really is, and you probably agree with me, we need to start at a, younger level to help people with resilience in illness.
Hmm.
Because one in
Oh,
two of us
yes.
are going to get cancer, one in two of us are going to have a chronic health issue,
Yeah.
or we're going to be carers of those people.
Yeah.
I've also been a carer of my ex-husband with cancer and other multiple life-threatening conditions. So I've had so much experience, and the studies I've done, God has just given me these beautiful gifts to, and again, it's through education, turning up for myself
Hmm.
to sit here, right here, and write this book and to talk to you and to do the work that I have. And I don't know what's coming next. I don't know what doors are gonna, who's going to be knocking on my door, and I'm just
Yeah.
day
Just
by day, really, and I just think I'll just sit with my team, see what happens, and everything I've wanted to achieve, I've achieved. So I don't, yeah, it's.
it is. It's
I want to do a podcast though
you
too.
want
So
to do a you could do a
no,
podcast.
chronic reasons that does I have, so that will
Yeah.
probably start. Yeah,
Actually, do you want to hold up the book? Because I will chuck it on YouTube as well. So there it is, guys.
it's available from my website,
Yep.
and I've been giving money to cholangiocarcinoma research. So Um, yeah, that will help people like myself and Joe to have options as well.
Yep. I'll leave a link in the section below when I figure out how to do that. And and you could purchase the book Chronic Wisdom. I definitely will purchase a hard copy because I do like hard copy of books as well. Um, but yeah, what else is on the table for you? So you've done your book launch, you've been
Oh, Westfield?
radio
Yes. Yeah,
interviews,
radio
and
on
yeah,
Friday. Westfield because it's Westfield Local Hero finalist. So
Yep.
they've been so great. I'm being featured there at at the moment, all over their boards for the can support work that I do for the Royal North Shore Hospital. And they're allowing me to have a soft launch in Westfield Hornsby this Saturday. So that's amazing. Um, I'm doing another charity walk next month, which
Yes.
is the main for
Now
Rare
it causes.
Cancer,
Yeah.
yeah, Rare Cancer Australia, who are just wonderful. And I'm just, yeah, like speaking gigs, and I'm just breathing.
Yeah.
Very big to do a lot.
You're
Um,
living life.
living
You're
life.
living
I
life.
think that I also am very conscious of, like you, loving myself and caring for myself and filling my own cup up first.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's right.
So we'll just see
Um,
what happens. And yeah, I'm looking forward to you being my first. Um, yes,
yeah,
yeah, you're
I'd
for
love
chronic
that.
wisdom.
Yeah, yeah, I'd love that. Um,
Definitely writing another book, so I'll start that in probably April.
okay, okay. Do you have any idea? Can we get a little
I feel like it's going to be more of a how-to book,
how-to
like a
book?
motivational book.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was re-diagnosed, and it wasn't one of my doctors. He came into the room and he's like, "Things aren't good, love."
Mm,
I go, "I'm going to be on a motivational
yeah.
space stage in 5 years' time," and he goes, "You're positive." And here you go, like I'm just. I was like, "I'm not." I visualize myself up on a big stage,
Yeah.
and yeah, I'll just see where God leads me.
Yeah.
And I just, I'm just grateful to be alive. And every morning, and every night, I sit with my dinner and I light a candle and I just say, I'm so grateful for the food in front of me, the roof I have over my head, the health I woke up to, all the support I've received to up until now. And I pray for my fellow cholangiocarcinoma
Yeah.
survivors as well. And that's, as you'll read in the book, I think that I do. So, um, everything else is a bonus, Joe.
Yeah. Everything is a bonus.
Living and smelling. And when you're diagnosed with cancer, I'll never forget going home to that tin shed, and I just sat and used to have little picnics outside on the grass,
Yeah.
and I heard the birds sing like I've never heard them before.
Mm,
And when you're diagnosed with cancer or a chronic illness, life takes you off the motorway and puts you on the B roads. That
great.
is where living starts, on the B roads,
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
moment, in the now, every moment
I love that.
to be
Being
lived in
present.
gratitude.
Yeah.
Be mindful and surround yourself with Joes of this world and people.
Joe's
Get
and
yourself
Karen's and Karen.
and
Well, the positive Karens, not the not the social media Karens that we see.
you just embody grace and love, and I know your listeners are just going to absolutely love Tegan and yourself, and I will do everything in my power to help you help thrive.
Yeah.
Allow Thrive Nation thrive.
Thank you. Thank you. Um, that was awesome. I guess we'll for anyone who's new on this journey, right? Um, Obviously there's a lot of things to navigate. There's a lot of uncertainty. What are I guess three aligned actions that you feel helped you on when you were first diagnosed? And what are three things that you can give someone else, like advise someone who's just newly on this journey?
Okay, so one would be um, get yourself a mentor that, like Lisa Crane. Oh my gosh, 15 years. Do you
Yeah,
know Lisa Crane?
Lisa Crane.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you don't know Lisa Crane? Oh my God, she's had this cancer 6 times over 15 years.
Yeah,
So get yourself a mentor like that to look up to.
yeah,
Um, and I've had to learn this throughout the 30 years because I've had to get multiple diagnoses. Obviously, we're both aware, get multiple diagnoses. And don't freak out. Don't freak out. Get all the facts and sit with yourself and really unpack and repack your life suitcase and find that right village to help you do that.
yeah. Great advice there. Thank you, so much, Karen. I think yeah, yeah, hopefully for our listeners, if you're watching it on YouTube or if you're listening to the podcast, like that is Karen, one of my favorite people that I've, you know, we call each other Cholangio besties. Like she's been such an amazing light for me, and I hope that this interview highlights just how amazing she is and how, the work that she's doing, it's incredible. And yeah, I'm so happy to have you here as the first interview, especially on Cholangio Awareness Month. Like, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for all the work you're doing in cholangio awareness as well. That is
Yeah,
seen and is loved and it is honoured. And
yeah,
for everybody in Australia doing their part as well to change that, we honour you.
yeah. No, thank you. And if someone wants to reach out to you, how can they reach out to you?
I have a website, karenhumphries.com.au, and
Yeah,
we're on social media, and you can follow all the links
yeah.
through the website.
And you can see her launching her book. When's your next where's the next place they can actually see you?
So Westfield Hornsby this Saturday coming,
This Saturday coming.
probably about
Okay.
11 to 2.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm just working everything out. I don't have, I'm not all, perfect or organized. I'm giving myself a few days break and then I'll work things out. And
Yeah.
I'll be going to Canberra and meeting the radio station that I always am on as well next month. And I'm hoping to work with this beautiful sexologist soon as well. And we think about that might be like a taboo topic, but it's actually about our identity and our body. It's not about sex, it's about who we are, and especially when like we lose our breasts or a testicle or have a bag, and embodying ourselves and loving ourselves again. It's actually the psychology of our identity.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really very interesting. So I'm looking forward to working in that space as well with
Oh,
you.
well, I guess that will give us something to talk about next time you're on the
Yes,
podcast.
yes, I could
Yes.
bring her on maybe actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, we're going to do a
You have a
radio show
sexologist
together.
and yeah,
Yes,
that would be great.
yes.
But yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope everyone I'm sure everyone got a lot of value out of this, and yeah, can't wait to catch up. We'll definitely be talking anyway after this. So but thank you once again for joining the Thrive Nation podcast. Thank you for being my very first guest. And just yeah, I'm so grateful for you.
Thrive, thrive, thrive.
Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time. That was awesome.
I love the places we went to.